Through the years, I've done a lot of funerals, and sometimes it's hard to find anything nice to say about the deceased. One funeral I did, over 100 people showed up for that funeral, and no one really could say anything nice about him. I talked to his children. They said, well, he was always working, and he was a very stern father. I don't know if that's the kind of epitaph I would like written on my tombstone, would you? I think many showed up to this funeral just to make sure that this man was dead. Now, I wonder about people, what people will say after I pass at my funeral. There's one thing I hope they see in me that they would be able to say about me. It would be exactly the same thing that the author of Hebrews said about Jacob in Hebrews 11:21, when he said that Jacob lived by faith. I hope they could say that about me. And that verse 21 of Hebrews 11, it says, by faith, Jacob, when he was dying, blessed both the sons of Joseph and worshiped, leaning upon the top of his staff. Listen, at his death, he was still worshiping God. Now, after Jacob's funeral, his elder sons, the ones that were older than Joseph, they were kind of worried because they had mistreated Joseph. They had beaten him. They had thrown him into a well. They had sold him into slavery. And so in the eyes of man, you know what, they felt that payback was in order. Of course, that's how people think, right? But instead of payback, what Joseph said to him, but as for you, you thought evil against me, but God meant it for good, to bring to pass as it is the day to save much people alive. Now, we see that Jacob passed his faith of God unto his son Joseph. And when we live by faith, we begin to see the greater hand of God at work in our lives and in the world. Romans 8:28. And we know that all things work together for the good, that them that love God, to them that are called according to his purpose. Joseph saw that God can redeem even the worst. It can do his redemptive work even in the worst of circumstances. God can create good to show us his salvation. In Egypt, Joseph went from slave to prisoner to ruler of Egypt, and many would live because of it. His trials were short-lived to the glory that God had in store for him. Redemption is not just for us, just being saved, but the purpose of God, for the purpose of what God has for our life. And that was passed on from generation to generation and can leave a legacy. And that's all I got for today. God bless.